Have you recently discovered that you're in the human design type group called Projector? And if so, have you been searching high and low information to understand, like, how the heck do you navigate life when you're so very different to the majority of people? If that sounds like you are not alone. In the last decade, I have served more projectors than any other type, and they all have the same question that I have when I started, which is like, how do I do life as a projector? Projectors typically find me because, one, I am a projector, so I can teach from this embodied place, but also I don't teach all the same stuff, like just straight out of a book or straight out of a course. I'm teaching from my lived experience of what works, so I can help you, my fellow projector, understand yourself better and work out how to really do life the right way for your energetic design. So in this video, I'm going to share the key things that I teach all of my projector clients, and they're the same things I've used to make my own life work better as a projector. Are you ready? Number one, focus on what you are rather than what you're not, and focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. So let me explain that a bit more. There are so many human design teachers who are generators and manifesting generators because they're 70% of the population. And the challenge that they have is that they're trying to teach about another type they have no lived experience of. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't teach you some great theory, but what I have seen time and time again, and my projector clients have told me time and time again, is that they get so sick of hearing what as a projector they are not. All of the teaching seems to be like, instead of being a projector, you're not a generator type. It's this subtle weaving in of the teachings in a way that says, oh, but you're not a this or you're not a that. And another expression of that is like, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. So when we look at someone from the perspective of what they're not, as opposed to what they are, that is immensely disempowering. So it is far more useful for you to understand what you are as a projector and what you can do as a projector. And so have a look at some of the content that I have here on the channel, where I'm talking about your benefits and your strengths and your abilities and your gifts as a projector. I'll make sure I link something up here somewhere that you can go and look at that if you found that really disempowering. And let's go on to number two. Learn what it means, what it truly means to wait for the invitation, and then apply it to like everything. Now, this is one of the places where my teachings diverge quite a lot from what a lot of other projectors will teach you. And I can tell you that it has fundamentally changed my life. So here's the problem. Ra originally taught, Ra Uru Hu, if you don't know the name, he was the original founder and messenger for human design. And bless him, we wouldn't have this system without him. But he was a manifester, so he didn't have an embodied understanding of what it meant to be a projector. He was also very, very negative, pessimistic, didn't really like the world much, didn't really like people very much. And so that was infused into all of his human design teachings. And he also was looking around at the projectors around him, and they were very, very conditioned. So he didn't really have some good examples of like powerful, vitally brilliant, alive projectors. He didn't really know what they look like or how they would behave. So much of what he taught was through this lens of like, oh, we have all these really not self, he would call it, projectors who are operating in this like really low vibration, and like, what do I do with these people, right? So we're 20% of the population-ish, and he's going, how the heck do I get them from this like really bitter, stuck, burnt out state and help them function in the world? How do I help them survive in the world, right? And so one of the things that he taught that has been repeated again and again and again to try and help this group of broken, bitter projectors function in the world was to say, oh, you know what? This wait for the invitation strategy, you only have to do it for the big four things, the big things in life. So things like starting a job or a business, entering a new romantic relationship, moving house, or like going on a big holiday or something like that, vacation, as the term that would have been used. And that's all well and good. However, anyone who has like dug through his lectures will know that Ra constantly contradicts himself. So there are other spots in his lectures where he talks about don't speak until you're invited. Don't join in with things. Don't Don't initiate and start conversations and start relationships, or wait until you're invited, right? So it can be very, very confusing for people. And unfortunately, there are now a huge number of people teaching on YouTube, Instagram, blogs, all over the place, even books that say, as a projector, you only have to wait for the big things. And I can tell you, this is a serious disservice to you. When I, as a projector, put all of that idea aside, and I went, that doesn't make sense to me. Why would our aura behave this way in this situation, but not in this situation? I'm going to experiment. Now, that is one of the things that Ra said to us. This is your experiment. Don't believe me. Go and try it out, right? So when I experimented, here's what I discovered. When I waited for the invitation for the small, medium, and large, and all the things in my life, and here's the key thing, in relationship to another person, so I don't need to wait for an invitation when it's time for me to eat lunch because I just want to eat, or for me to go and do anything else that doesn't include another human being. I don't need an invitation, but as soon as I need an invitation to speak, an invitation to join a class, an invitation to join, like anything that requires an interaction with another human being, when I started diligently applying waiting for the invitation to all of those small things, oh my God, night and day difference. So that's point number 2, is start applying our strategy as projectors to wait for the invitation to everything that includes another human being, and watch what happens. It is profound. Let's do number 3. Discover how you're uniquely designed to make decisions. Just because I'm a projector and you're a projector, we might be designed to make decisions differently. In human design, we use a term called inner authority, which, depending on how long you've been working with human design, you might know this term. Inner authority just means I am an authority in my own life, and that authority as to what is correct for me lives inside of me. It's in me, right? Now, making decisions has a few steps, and we're not always clear in the teachings online with human design about how to make decisions. So the first is you got an invitation. Then it's about whether or not this invitation is correct for you. Are you going to say yes, or are you going to say no? And that's where inner authority is the next step in that process. There are a few different inner authorities as a projector. I have done videos on all of them, so I will make sure that I link them in the video description. But you could be, the most common is emotional, the next most common is splenic, then you could also be an ego projector, a self-projected projector, or a so-called mental projector, which is a ridiculous name. I talk about that in the long video I did for mental projectors. It is really important to understand how you're designed to make decisions. And anyone who has ever struggled with making decisions and read books on decision making will have discovered that some of the tried and true wisdom doesn't work for you. So it's really important that you understand how you're designed to make decisions, because if we want to look at how do I live my life as a projector, one of the most important things is to know how to make correct fucking decisions for yourself, right? If you know how to make decisions correctly, if you know how to enter into relationships correctly because you've waited for an invitation, and then you know what to say no to and what to say yes to, that's 90% job done. That's the most important thing that human design can give you. So it is essential that you understand how you are uniquely designed to make decisions. Number 4, regaining your sense of self-worth. One of the things that projectors struggle with the most, and I found horrendously difficult for the first few years of my journey with human design, is if we have rubbish sense of self-worth, if our self-esteem or our self-value is very low, we're not very magnetic. We're not going to get very many invitations. And so it's this catch-22. As a projector, I have to wait for an invitation to enter into the right opportunities to get a chance to say yes or no, for me to be able to successfully guide people, and this so on virtuous cycle that we want, right? However, if your sense of self-worth is not really robust, if you don't deeply recognize and understand that you are awesome and you have value to share with the world, then you're just not going to get invites, or you're not going to get many invites, or you're going to get really low quality invites that just leave you feel kind of bitter and broken and burnt out and all the bees. So what the heck do you do about that? Well, glad you asked. That'll be number 5, which is to decondition. And decondition like your life depends on it, because it kind of probably does, if I'm honest. So if deconditioning is a new term to you, it basically means unlearn the shitty beliefs, heal the past pain, like find and slowly, carefully heal the trauma of the past. Basically, what you're trying to do is you're trying to gently pull out of your system, your body and your mind, all of the stuff that doesn't belong to you. The stuff that is in the way of you being this magnetic human being where people just want to invite you to things left, right, and center. And trust me, there are plenty of projectors who get invitations left, right, and center. And the more I have deconditioned and healed my own sense of self-worth, I now get more and more and more invitations. So I want you to know that this is possible. It won't happen overnight, but it can happen over time if you do it diligently, a little bit every day, the way you hopefully brush your teeth. So deconditioning means unlearning the things that are not correct for you. And it also means becoming aware of and unraveling, like uncoupling those behaviors that are harming you. Things like responding, because that's for the generators and manifesting generators. Things like initiating for the manifestors. These things that are not only not correct for you, but ultimately are harmful because they lead you into situations that burn your energy, burn your resources, burn out your body. Now, there are lots and lots and lots of ways that you can do this deconditioning work. And if you already have a healing modality and tool that slowly, gently gets you into the mind and into the body and shifting this stuff out, and it works brilliantly, safely, great. Keep doing that. And the way I do it with clients and the way I have been doing this work with myself is what I call trauma-informed tapping. Now, this is basically, if you know what EFT is, emotional freedom techniques, it's like a more trauma-informed, more body-based version of this. This is something that I teach clients how to do a basic overview in a single session. So then you can start to do it in your own life and start to do it a little bit every day, like you're brushing your teeth. And then you can use that as a way to help you live your life as an aligned, empowered projector, which is what we all want. You are capable of doing incredible things. As a projector, you were built very differently from the majority of people in the world. You're not broken. Nothing is missing. And if you've been trying to do life the way you were taught and it hasn't been working for you, now you know there is a better way. If this video was helpful, give it a like. That'll help the channel grow, and then I can create more content like this for you. And tell me in the comments, what was the one thing that you most needed to hear today? And if you're still listening, can you share this with another projector? You never know how much it might impact their life.